But if you not given so much time, so how can
The
understood it?
problem is for me, my system setup itself took some time.
Okay,
So now only I started with replicating the session one and two items. So I will try to give more time in this month and get it completed because I thought my existing system will work, but it did not.
okay. Your system is not working.
My existing system,
It's not working with Angular.
no, it did not work.
Why?
It was there is some firewall issue and everything. So I need to look for another system. And now one day I started with that. That is a delay.
Okay,
It worked, it did not work, so it was not consistent.
okay. But you talk about your in your office because if they need Angular development, so
No, somehow it's not working in my system.
but why not? Okay, so basically, in the Angular, in an Angular roadmap, I have Angular core, Angular testing, Angular internationalization, and build with AI, developer tools, and extended ecosystem. These
Okay.
things are actually Angular whole part. Okay, but
Okay.
if you know about Angular for working, so Angular core is main important things, and Angular testing part is the different thing. So Angular core, when we are say, then this is the updated part, and at this time Angular 20 is coming, and Angular 20 have new features which called signals, and it is actually a part of state of Angular components. Sorry,
Okay.
not Angular components, it is the part, signal, it is the replicate of states which are actually managing
Mhm.
previously with the RxJS. Do you say anything?
No. You
Okay.
please proceed.
So this signals are actually replaced with the reactivex or reactivex library. So this is the inbuilt library which is actually uh, uh, added in version 17 from the 17 versions actually. And component is the visual part. Component actually is the visual part, and there we can create some components which are uh, managing for pages, managing for UIs, partial designs, that is actually designed by development by Angular components. And at this time, this Angular components is the main part of Angular architecture at this moment, because previously when we worked on Angular, so there have so many things, but Angular module was the main part of the whole module. But at this time, uh, after 17, and Angular component is the main part of the Angular development structure. And in this Angular development component structure, there have so many things which is the part we can cover. And this is the part of Angular components, what type of Angular working, how Angular selector works, how Angular component styled, how can accept the data by the input property, how can send the data from the component. So that time we can use output. Content projection means if we want to use some another contents inside the component architecture, so that time we can use this kind of things. Host element, this is the actually extended part of components, and after that we can see the Angular life cycle. So many things we can use here. This is the Angular component part which is important. um, up to this part is a Angular component basics, and this is the sometimes it is some advanced topics in the Angular component. And once we Angular components are learned, and obviously in the Angular component when we learn, so there have some templates requirement also there, because Angular components are designed by development by HTML, CSS and JavaScript, means TypeScript. So these three things are included, and when we are included, so template part have used in the HTML part, HTML, and there have some template syntaxes like text binding, property binding, attribute binding. There have some things there. We also required some event listener, two-way binding, control flow, pipes. This all these things are actually part of templates part, and this is the directive. Directive is the some another parts when we are using some attributes. So that is actually directives, and uh, we have if we want to use some third party libraries or anything, so that is the part of dependency injection, and it's called service also. This is the actually services part also. And routing system is the actually if we are design some architecture application, then we can use some routing options for our application, and it is have some topics. We have form section, and that forms also required if we are created some Angular forms, so that is also important. There Angular forms, and then we can see the HTTP client. HTTP client mainly uses for API consume API data consuming in the client's end, and we can send the data through the client. That time we can use HTTP client. And server side rendering is a part of SEO, basically search engine optimization if we required. So that time we need to set up our application with this process, and if we are using in this process, so we should have server environment nodejs enabled, otherwise this part will not be working. Angular animation is the part of animation, and this is the actually part of some JavaScript and HTML both we can use here, and sometimes here we can use some third party libraries also for the animation. And here I have another important part, drag and drop, and that is helpful us for if we are creating any drag and drop component, that time we can use it this. So this is actually our learning topics which are actually need to be know for from the Angular. Understood? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so basically currently Angular official site is angular.dev, and if I go on there, so this is everything which is are here. Okay, so
Okay.
these things actually need to be know. So how can we start the Angular and how it work? But you told me you take a new system cla- uh, for practices.
Yes, I need to take. I have one system now that is working, so I'm practicing in that.
Okay, 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 okay. And so first thing, if we want to install our the Angular, so go to the angular.dev website, and then you can click the get started, and after get started you can see something here, but actually if we want to start our applications development, so go to the docs section, and here is the installation procedure. And
Okay.
this installation procedure have a process. First, if you have checked in your system npm is available or not in your system, so go to your terminal or command prompt, and there must be check npm minus b means npm version is available or not, because if it is not installed, so you can't install these packages for globally. Okay, so basically means is npm install minus g means global, and then you can use this CLI package. Okay, so just you copy
Yes.
this package, and it is set up with your uh, installed option.
Okay.
So now it's need to be used for global installation, and once you are created it, after then you can get the ng command for globally. That means you can use this ng command anywhere of your computer.
Okay.
Once you downloaded it properly, and then you can check ng minus minus help help. That means your ng command already available in your system globally. So basically
Okay.
once I created it, then it is okay. So basically thing is sometimes when you work with command prompt, so these things will be work fine, but sometimes your VS code not be supports in the terminal section. Sometimes it is actually a problem is the Windows system. PS1 file can be showing there, but that particular file need to be removed or rename if it is if you get some problem in your VS Code terminal, because here also you can check ng command, and if you get properly output from your VS Code terminal then it is okay, or if it is give any problem in your new system, then need to be some configuration in your system. Okay,
Okay.
so now we can create a project. So if you want to create a angular project, so this is the project creation syntax: ng new, and then you can give the project name. So
Okay.
this is the process where ng new, and now we can give the name class 7. Okay, so this is the part, and after clicking actually project name will be folder, and then which type of style sheet can we use. So this is the CSS style sheet I already chose, and now it's ask server side rendering is server side rendering or static side rendering is required or not. So actually if you are made any application, like
Okay.
if it is working behind the uh, um, scene, means actually if you using this part for admin section or user section, so that time this server side rendering is not required.
Sorry, can you come again?
If you design, if you developing for user side or admin side, could you understand?
Client side? Is it browser only?
It is browser part, but actually in the browser part have three sections mostly required. I show you what actually things. Just hold on. I have another application which I am working on for my client. This is my client project. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the client project, and it is the front end part. Understood?
Okay.
It is
Okay.
it is actually front end part, browser side definitely, but it is the front end part which is visible in the clients. Clients means
Okay.
it is visible everyone who are visiting in your website. Understood?
Okay. Okay.
Because it is a first home page and about page, login. These all parts are actually visible for the clients,
Okay. Okay.
for the any website visitors. Okay,
Okay.
and once we are getting any website visitors for this UI, basically
Okay.
problem is if this particular page is not properly SEO friendly, so your site not be visible in the search engine.
Okay.
Understood? What is the
Yes.
meaning of what is the problem actually? Actually, if your site is not properly SEO friendly, then your site not be linked with the search engine. No one can find through the search engine by searching your services.
Okay.
Okay, so for that particular purpose, we of course need to make the front end. This is the front end as SEO friendly. But
Okay.
if I go for backend, like just hold on. If I go for backend like admin section, this admin section should not require SEO friendly because it is not visible for search engine.
Okay.
It is a requirement for search engine visibility.
No.
So if it is not search engine visibility requirement, so that means it is the application part.
Okay.
Understood?
Okay.
It is the application part. So if it is application part, that means it is the backend, and this backend when does not require any search engine optimizations, so that time we did not require any search engine rendering options also.
Okay.
Okay, so basically thing is, if we are created this particular session, first we choose the CSS part for the styling purpose, and this is the part of server side rendering and static side generation. So this is actually requirement for search engine optimizers, otherwise does
Okay.
not require it. So by default it is no, n capital means no, so just I enter here. And zoneless application, it is actually it is a internal features. By default it is a no, so then we can create it no. Okay,
Okay.
because it is sometimes it's advanced topic, so don't understand it more at this moment, just it as default we will be considered with it. And now here I have some AI tool features can be added for best practices. Basically means if we are created any kind of um, any kind of helping for any documentation helps are required, so we can use it. And now here I have windsurf already. Windsurf plugins are working for me, so if I choose it, then windsurf plugins are connected with the angular features, angular AI features. Basically angular AI features means here have no AI are actually attaching. If we writing any code, if we want to debugging my code, so that time AI will be help us. So for that particular purpose, these plugins are actually we can enable, otherwise does not required.
Okay.
I just use it as null because it is does not require so many times initially, but we can check it later also if it is requirement. Okay, so actually our project structure are created, but known modules folder is not created. So here I have some dependency issues. Uh, some problems here. So for that purpose I just simply enter this project folder, then here I provide some root permissions or administrative permission, then I set up npm install. Npm I means install. So if I set it, then we can see node modules as dependency. So did you install it in your system?
Yes, yes. Now it's I'm using another system. It's working there.
So now npm start is a command, and what is npm start? Npm start actually node package manager, and if we are using node package manager and every node applications, mainly javascript based application, are starts from the package.json. Okay,
Okay.
so package.json is the main part if you start debugging or finding your code, how it working in your application. So first thing, it is most important to understand how it work and what is this actually. So first thing, package.json, when you are visiting here, so first thing, this is the project name which is seen here, and after that you can use the version name which is the package version or software version, and by default it is 000, but you can change it as per your development process. And do you know about versioning?
No.
Okay, actually it is the process of development. If you are make changes anything, so that time when you upload the changes, and that changes are provide everywhere easily, so that time versioning is the most important things, and it is actually depends on github. Basically when we are uploaded our source code on github, so that time we can change the versions number, and that versions number are flowed your clients quickly. This is the process of versioning. Basically sometimes you check, you can see uh, some software new versions are available in your system. Did you see?
Yes.
And how it that basically thing is, if you are changing something in your software, and that software you already installed as their client, that time you can see the updatations in your software. So this part actually managed by in this section. Understood?
Okay. Okay.
So not only here it is a part, and also we can see some various way. And if we start using command, some commands like here I just write some command npm start start start. If we use this command npm start, so npm start means this start command are actually I am calling after using this command. So if I using this, so you can see this npm start are calling ngserve command. So that means this is the actually ngserve command is calling when I using npm start. Understood?
Yeah.
And if I want to use ng build, okay, so if I want to use ng build, so that time we can need to use npm run build. This time we cannot use directly npm build because it's only support on start only. Otherwise we need to be use npm run build. Okay,
Okay.
then our build command will be performed, and now this build command is performed for the browser application, and this time you can see this is our browser application, and this particular browser application means this browser part only visible for the client section. This particular part only for distributed file only. Okay, because
Okay.
if your project is completed, then you build your project, and this particular folder will be hosted in your server side.
Okay.
Okay, and
Okay.
otherwise every code should not be give your client, because it is not required. You only give in the dist folder, which is the compiled file, and this compiled file are actually does not readable. It is only for deployment version. It is a deployment version basically.
Okay.
But if we are develop our application, so we must uh, this time I must delete the dist folder now, and these two things are actually here, and also we have some another option like watch and test. This watch version actually sometimes it's better than start. Basically start version is the development version, and development versions have some extra codes maybe there, and that should not be properly worked. Maybe sometimes it's have some extra dependency which may be visible in your browser part, but sometimes that not be give you proper outline or proper understanding your project finally how it work in the deployment. So that time if you want to watch and development in your process in with the final version, so that time we can see we can use it by watch mode. So if we want to see it as watch mode, so that time we need to be use it as npm run watch.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
Basically it is a final version which is see in the browser, but if you use it as watch mode, so that time it will be helpful for see how your output is working. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the actually part of watch mode. And ng test means basically if you create any component editing, so if you have automate testing parts are created, that time you can use this test part, which is a check your quality, application quality. So this is the quick testing panel, and what kind of things are tested in your application. So this is the testing part. There have two tests are success, means one is the title is rendered, and another is the it should create the app. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the test run, and if and obviously for the testing purpose we need to know about something more, because tests are actually is uh, different from the development. Did you
Okay.
know about testing in your BS C# coding?
We do unit testing. Unit testing and it's manual testing.
Okay. Manual testing, but actually this time manual testing not required everywhere. They are asking for automated testing. So if you need some automated testing, so that time you need to write some automated test case. Did you write test cases before?
No, it's all manual test cases.
Okay, okay. But this time some companies are required uh, automated testing for application development. If you are developed your application, so you must have knowledge automated testing features. So we can also start my start command with the npm run start also. Okay.
Okay.
So once our application is started, then we can see our started code with this part.
Okay.
Okay. So now my project is starting, and now I start with some extra features. But basically thing is, if you are working with Angular, here have some third party options also, some third party UI also here, which is provided by Angular developers, which call Angular materials. Angular materials is the some extra features which can be added for development purpose. And as you C# developer, this UI actually require to understand for your development. Basically your main concern is you generated your APIs, and that APIs should be visible in your system directly, right?
Yes.
So but what you how can I taught you? Okay, so first thing I understood how UI works. Okay, how component and UI works, and then I can install it for you because this UI actually give you some helpfulness to design your UI quickly.
Okay.
Okay, so basically when we start working for our application, so definitely our application starts from uh, source folder. Okay, and in the source folder if we start, so here have three files. One is the index.html, another is the main.ts, and styles.css. And do you know what these things?
No, sir. But styles.css is the one which gives style to the overall website.
These three files is the global file.
Yeah.
These three files is the global file, and these three files actually is your entry file of your application.
Okay.
Okay, basically thing is if we rendered any visible part, basically this is our visible part. and this visible part comes from the HTML section. So this is the HTML part. Okay, and if we see some styling, so this styling comes from the style sheet, and if have some connections or coding, so that coding comes from the main.ts file, and this main.ts file actually are bootstrap of our application. Bootstrap means it is a actually starting file. Sometimes we need some configuration over here, and sometimes not. Okay, so these three files have here for some starting purpose, but sometimes it's required, sometimes it's not required. It depends on your development process. Actually, our application development process starts from this particular folder, and once we expand this app folder, and here I have some these three things like app.html. This is the HTML part, and which are actually seen here. So this HTML part comes from this particular file. If I select all, control with the control A, and then if we are save it, we cannot see anything here. That means everything removes from the app.html. So this app.html have everything which are actually seen here. Now I just simply write hello, and then we can use this kind of syntax in our page. Okay, so this curly braces actually template syntax. This called interpolation sign. What is this?
Interpolation sign.
Interpolation sign. These two curly braces are using as it interpolation sign, and in this interpolation sign we can expose our variables in the HTML section. Understood?
Okay.
Not only variables, here we can expose any kind of JavaScript or TypeScript code here, like this time it is looks like a function calling. So this time we can see functions, we can see here variables through this expression signs.
Okay.
Okay, and router outlet, router outlet is the another directives which are help us to create some pages or some internal pages. If we want to see the some one page to another pages, like my another website which are seen, so that is actually worked on router outlet. And these two things actually comes from where? These two things where it comes from, can you say?
To link with the JavaScript.
Yes, it is JavaScript, but actually these two things like title and router outlet comes from actually ts file, app.ts. Actually, what is the component architecture? Basically it is a based on component architecture. Could you understand it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Actually, what is the component structure? Component structure comes with ts file, css file, and html file.
Okay.
Actually,
So
if I
TS is the programming, and HTML is the UI, and CSS is the styling.
css for styling, and ts is the actually main part of components. This complete part which called component, and this component have some extra additional things which required, like selector, imports, template URL, style URL.
Okay.
So this is the actually part which are actually linked this class as supportive things, and this class instance are created into the main section. Basically this is the module resolution process. This modules actually comes from this app actually is a class, and this app class uh, is calling in main.ts file. Okay, and this main.ts file are linked with the app instance here, and this app instance actually load whole UI here.
Okay.
So basically if we want to create any component, so our main part will be always ts file, and ts file means a class file, which is our first part of our uh, component, and html and css is the supportive file. This is not required really, it is actually supportive file.
Okay.
These two are actually supportive file. uh, our main file is required is ts file, and ts file should be a class.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
but what is this two means app config.ts and app routes.ts file? Could you know about this? What is app
Sorry?
config.ts and what is app routes.ts?
No, no, sir.
Basically thing is this is actually two supportive files for application structures. Basically this
Okay.
time we need to be start our application, and we have some basic starter configurations or routing process are required because it is a front-end application. So for front-end application, this route.ts, where we can set the routing options for multiple pages, as when we are created is as a uh, uh, applications. So that time routing part are also required for the pages part, pages setup, and this config.ts file is some third party dependencies like routes provider, this routing system, this routes file if here, that means this routes provide routes is a function where we set up this routes object into this configuration file. Not only here, this also some things here like browser global error listeners, browser zone change detection. So these two things also have for application configurations process, and this app config file also exported uh, this main.ts file, and you can see this is our library file, comes from the angular slash browser platform options, and then we have get some configuration app config from the app config file, and we get main app component. This these two files actually added in the main sections, and
Oh,
in these two files have configurations of whole applications. If I create a
okay.
whole application, so these two files, basically app.ts and appconfig.ts, these two files are actually main important files, and obviously in this appconfig.ts file have another dependencies which is called approute.ts initially at this moment.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a basic flow structure of our application.
Okay.
Now I want to create another component, so how can create it that? So just I mouse over of our my project and right click over there and open in integrated terminal. So that means we can create another terminal. Our main application already running, but I create another terminal in my system, and now I just use ng command for creating our components. So if I create any commands, any components, so how can do that? So basically ng minus help minus help, and here we can see so many options like add, analytics, build, catch, completion, config, deploy, e2e, so many things here, right?
Yeah.
But how can I create the component? How can I create component from here? So if we want to create component or anything else, so we need to use generate part. We need to use generate
Okay.
part, and generate
Okay.
aliases is G. Okay, generate
Okay.
aliases with G means it is the shorter form of generate syntax.
Okay.
So if I use ng G minus help, so how it how many things are here under this generate options? So if I use uh, this command ng space G minus help, so after this we can see how many options are available under the generate options.
Okay.
So here we have some schematic. Schematic means some ready-made schema which is are here, and if I see some schema, then we can see something generation point like ngg schematic, ng ai config, ngg app cell, ngg application, class, component, config, directive, enum, so many types of generation options are here. And obviously if we are using this type of processes, so that means we need some we can access some templates for this particular sections, pre-built template, bare minimum template. So if I want to create the component, so definitely if we use the component, so ngg component, and then we can use the component name. So if I use component, so component is bigger format. So if I want to shorter format, so then we can see it only C. Okay.
Okay.
Also same like some extra features also here, like if we want to create something different here. So now I just clear my console first. ng gc means component. Now I want to create a basic page component. Okay, so pages slash home. So this is the home page component I created here. So now we can see here home page component. Also we can create another component with the about page component. We can create another component like contact. So now we are created here three components.
Okay.
Okay, so if I created here three components, so three components are actually created under the pages section, and here always I mention pages before our component name, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So with this command we can quickly see our components are created, and once we create our components, so every components have four files. Actually our component starts from ts file. I already said about it before, right? Hello, hello Tag, are you there? Hello Tag, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm there. Sorry.
Okay. So basically, every component starts from TS file. Even when we starts from TS file, so this TS file, you can see this home.ts is here, and under this file we can see home.html, home.css is a connector of another supported file of the TS file,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And here we have this file, and uh, home.spec.ts is the testing file. It is actually here for testing purpose. So this time testing, how it testing properly, so I did not discuss so much right now here. Just we can understood about the components, how it work. Okay, so if I created 3 pages here, so we should be registered these 3 pages into the app routes.ts file first. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so these 3 files is required to connect this file. So if I use, so basically routes have route object, and every route object have some processes, like we need to use path option first. And if I use the path, so basic path, default path will be uh, blank, and here we can directly use component, otherwise we can redirect to options can use for the redirection. But this time I actually I mostly preferred to write component directly here. Okay, so if I use this component basically is a calling for app component. So now I want to add home component here. So this is the home component. This home component comes from pages slash home. That means
Okay.
this is the pages section, and after that it is the home folder, and this is the home uh, ts file where have home class, and this home class actually added here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first part. Same things if I use for about page. So now we can see about, so this about component we can see here, component and calling about here.
Okay.
Now here we can use path for contact, 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 and component should be contact. Okay, these 3 files are imported as page part. Okay, so once I use it, now we can see hello class 7 and homeworks. Did you see
Yes.
what is this? It is actually directly linked, this home component. Basically home component is the outer part, is the html part, and this html part actually visible from here, homeworks. So now it's showing homeworks, but how can I see about and
Contact.
contact? How can see? How can we
Uh,
see?
Menu items.
Hmm?
Menu items.
Menu items. Yes, we will be set up it later. But basically, how can I see now, right now, without
Okay.
menu item?
Backslash and about backslash and contact here.
No, it is not backslash. It is a front slash, and here we can use about for routing section. So we already set up routing parts. So if I use the add in the address bar about path, so we can see the about page. If I want to see contact page, so then we can see contact page also there.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the actually part of routing options, and these routing options are actually activated with this three files. And when when I create these three files, not three files, actually three components, and after creating these three components, we can see we can link with these three components with the path mapping with the component. And when path is matching by the URL path, then our component is loaded as page. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
But this time, as developer, I know we know how can see our pages, but a normal user could not understand that, right?
Yes.
And when user not understanding how can redirect another pages, actually they don't have any clue to how say how they redirect with another page. So that
Yes.
time we need to set up some menu bar option. So if I create a menu bar option, so definitely we need to create another component, nggc, for another component. Just I clear the terminal first. Ng G means generate, C means component. Now sometimes I create some another name for components, com com ponents, components. I write it components because here I have some UI parts are parts will be here, which is required commonly in our pages. So this type we required menu section. So I just use menus menus section here, and these menu sections can be used commonly everywhere in our page or top of our page. So this type these components actually created here. And sometimes if I create the uh, header components, so we can create the header components, we can create footer components, FWTR footer component. So these three components for the structure layout or structures.
Okay.
So now these structures are actually built with this particular section. It is not actually layout file, but sometimes it's working as layouts file. So how it work? If I set header here, so app header, if I want to use, so I can use it like this, app header. Why app header? Why I using app header? Because if I go to the section, here we can see only header, right?
Yeah.
But why I am used here app header?
Is it a
Why I am using app header here?
app folder?
No, it is definitely it is under app folder, but basically app is the prefix. App is the prefix name, and this prefix name actually set up here, because here we are using the name of selector. Basically this is called selector. Okay,
Okay.
if we are created it as selector here, so this selector should be here also. So if it is not matched properly, then under this file, if I use any HTML or CSS under this file, this will not be loaded here in this section.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the actually first selective selector options which is required in our HTML part.
Okay.
But problem is if I use this header part, after that we can see the problems in the output.
Okay.
Why? Because if I use the selector name, it's okay, but my app component does not know what is this selector meaning.
Okay.
What is the selector of meaning? Why this selector are using here? So actually, our app component TS does not know. So
Okay.
if we need to use this header component, so then we need to use header component first, import here, and if I import here, then our header component properly loaded, and then we can see header works,
Okay.
and this header works can be visible everywhere, every pages, because it is the common part.
Okay.
So could you understand the structure?
Yes.
Okay. So once we created it, and then we can see the menu options. So here we can see app menus. Okay. So now we need to here menus. Here I am use menus, and once I use the menu, so we see same problem. So when I add app menu here, we must need to add that menu component here, and once I added here, then we can see the menus option. Okay,
Okay.
and when menu options here, and now I need to set the menu options where we can and we want to see the links. So just ul and li, under that li we can use the pages name. Uh, so this is the part, these three links are here. Okay, but if I use these three links in this pages, in this page, now we can see these three link. Okay,
Okay.
but these three links not working yet. Why not?
It's not linked to that
It's already
page.
linked. It's already linked, but here problem is this router link is a custom directive. It is a actually custom Angular directives, and these directives are uses replacement of href. If we are using to link anchor tag for the other files, so that time actually need to use href attributes for the every anchor syntax. Basically, a is a called anchor tag. It is an anchor tag, and this anchor tag must be required this header reference, uh, href. This is called header reference, and with this header reference we can use the path name here directly. Okay, which are
Okay.
which I we wanted to see in the browser. So after using this, we can see this is the home page, and now we can see about, and here we can see the contact. Understood?
Yeah.
These three pages are coming quickly,
Yes.
but notice here when I changes my pages, so that pages loaded with the some refreshment,
Yes.
with some refreshed,
Yes. Yes.
because this header reference actually calling the pages from the server. Actually, it's mean actually
Okay.
this, because if you are creating your C server application for the browser, so if you have uh, created multi pages application for the browser, so once you click the pages navigation section, so that time your pages comes from the server side
Okay.
by the server request, when you clicking other pages. But thing is that pages comes from server side, but these pages comes from server side. What is it? This pages comes from the server, or
Yes. Yes. Right.
no? It is already in
Okay.
clients, in the client section already here,
Okay.
because we everything developed with the Angular. Basically, if we created everything in Angular, and every pages already in your client, if your page is loaded in the client
Okay.
section, so every page is already loaded in your client section.
Okay.
Every pages already have in the client section, because these clients have main.ts, and main.ts already have every component, every pages file already here in your client section with the
Okay.
main.ts file, because main.ts file everything grabbing for the client section, clients.
Okay. Okay.
So when it everything in clients, basically it's called single page application. Basically we have seen multi pages here, we seen
Okay.
multi pages here, but actually it is not multi pages really, because
Okay.
it is actually logically loaded as multi pages, but it's everything in single page, everything in a JavaScript format.
Okay.
So basically, if it is everything in a single page, everything in a single part of our application, so we need to replace this particular part without using href.
Okay.
We can use router link instead of href. So basically, we did not require any more href now. We just replace with it router link.
Okay.
Okay. If I use this router link, then these links are not working as link.
Okay.
This router link are not working as link after changes this thing. So basically, this is the actually Angular parts or Angular directive. So if I calling Angular directive here, so we need to be use that directive class in our import section. If I import this router link options, this is the router link class also, and this router link class actually directly connected with the path configurations option. Basically, if
Okay.
we set any paths in the routes file, and that routes path are actually directly connected with the router link like this.
Okay.
Okay, so basically uh, we already set up this routes path here, and that routes path are actually connected with this particular options, and now we can see it as link. Okay,
Yes.
but notice here, when I change, after this change, our pages are loaded, pages content is loaded, but page does not refresh yet.
Okay.
So what is the meaning of this? Basically,
It's not hitting the server.
yes, basically it's not looking at server, and it's not create any refreshed in your front end application. So that means your client thinking this site very fast is loaded,
Okay.
but before this you thought your site have little bit delay to load, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they have some loading options there, and they have some loading requirement when I changes the pages before, right?
Yeah.
And it makes some sense created this site maybe is very highly loaded site, but
Okay.
after using this it's not give any refresh options or it quickly visible.
Okay.
So this is the difference between the previous options to this option,
Okay.
and both was same in our angular structure. But thing is, if we are creating angular application as single site, a single page application, and we have already in our client section, so basically for this particular purpose we does not require to load the page when I clicking other part of components. Okay,
Okay.
but yes, sometimes this loaded can be visible if we are calling any third party APIs. Otherwise
Okay.
this loading option does not be visible. But another options here, if our page is loaded, so our page visible quickly, only that data which is are actually depends on the server response, that data not be visible if our server not responding, our server response not completed yet, so our data could be showing as loading here. Okay,
Okay.
so that is a API calling, and that is the behind the server process uh, after loading the page, because sometimes you can see some websites already loaded but their content is not loaded, so they are showing some loading animation, preloading animation, or loading text are visible uh, to wait to get response the data completely from the server side. You are, I think you already seen that before.
Yes.
Okay, so today I discuss about some components, some template options, some directives, and also routing part we are
Okay.
discussed.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
everything is basic part, but which is are actually main important things if you are creating in your application. So these basic things must be understand first before starting web application creation, because if you are created any web applications for front end or back
What
end,
is
whatever,
what is OF? Sorry.
web application,
Web application. Okay. Okay.
basically here we are created a web application, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this is the web application creation process. So if I create any web application, so we must have some components, we must have some pages, we must have routing configuration process. This is very important part for web applications for the development.
Okay.
If you understand it, then your near about 30% knowledge is you grabbing
Okay.
for the application development, for the web application development, because this is the very important things. Yes, we have also so many things are required, like how components are working in deeply, and how can manages our other things behind the scene. That is also important. But basically, if I create any application quickly and fast, so this part are most important, because if you have any application structure, so you should have some pages are required. You should have some partial design like header, footer, or menus like this. So this is the partial design, and this partial design are uses here reusable design basically.
Okay.
These designs can be used many places if I required, and
Okay.
if we are created it with the dynamic input output, then it can be used many places. So,
Okay.
so could you understand this whole class today I discuss?
Yes. So it's basically like we I could understand. Yeah, there are pages, and the pages are we use menu option to display the pages, and we use routing so that it do not hit the server every time.
If
And
you,
components are common components which are used across all pages.
I suggested you, this class should be practiced
Okay.
uh, for the
Sure. Sure. We'll
starting
do
for
that.
next class,
Yeah,
because
we'll do it.
these things are most important things if you are working on Angular.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can we end this session here?
Yes, please. Yeah.